What we're going to want to do is, I think I am going to sand this down and paint it. Maybe I'll paint it to match the car. I don't know. Nobody looks under there, but still, I love this. I am going to take it off and paint it. Yes, I am. Okay, enough of that. Welcome back to the community, everybody, and thank you all for being part of it. Today, we're going to go ahead, and our extra video this week is the front beam. I'm going to go ahead probably next week, the week after, because I'm still doing body work as other videos, is put the disc brake kit on and everything in the front so I can at least mount front wheels to try to maneuver the car around on wheel dollies, if that makes sense. So before I do that, I did a video, could have been a year ago, I can't remember. And I know a lot of folks don't scroll back and look at videos, and I understand that. So probably 50% of you that are new here has never seen the video I'm going to do today, and it won't take real long. It's how to keep your beam from rusting out inside the shock towers, because that's where they rot at. So I'm going to show you how to prevent that from happening and give your beam a long life. Let's get on it. And I wanted to say thank you. I went to Jim's VW in Columbiana, Ohio this past Saturday, the 5th, to their get-together. I believe it's called Bugtoberfest. And you could dress up if you'd like. Obviously, I was just dressed as myself. And I had a great time. Lots of great cars there. I did film there last year, but I didn't this year. I was with my family and my granddaughter, my kids, my wife, and I just wanted to walk around and enjoy myself without having a camera for a change. I did snap a few pictures, as you see here. Very minimal, but we had such a nice time. Everybody, I started seeing Slade shirts everywhere, which was really awesome. And for the folks that came up and grabbed a hold of me and said, "Nice to meet you," it was my pleasure to meet you folks. You're the one that makes it the community. I'm just trying to hold it together for everybody to meet each other. Thank you so much, everybody that walked over and said hello to me and chatted. It made my whole day. Okay, back to the video. Now, ignore the mirror. I was checking the threads on something, but the door isn't pulled shut all the way, obviously. But we did get done our door and our quarter section. So that side, all I got to do now is the front here, but I got to weld some inserts. And this side of the car will be done since I'm doing it in sections. We also got done the other quarter panel on this side. And I think you see why I want to get the car on dollies so I can slide it over. So we'll be doing our door soon and our front section. And then we'll be coming across the top and down. That's the way I'm doing it. I got to put the front apron on and the rear apron. So lots to do. But let's get the beam done. And I'll ask your opinion on something also. Okay, so today what we're going to do is show you how to keep your beam, the shock tower, from sweating and actually rotting out. If you've seen a previous video of mine when this car came around, the beam was rotted out like you see here. Sometimes you can clean them up and fix them. This thing is toasted. Look, you can see through there too. And yes, it happens to almost all of them. You get sweating inside of here. That's what I refer to it as, moisture, and it rots out in this area. Now, they do sell the repair panels for them that you can weld on. But why don't we prevent that from happening? It's not that hard to do. This was the beam in the box by MP. It came complete. Misty had put me and MP together, and they were a really nice sponsor about this. I got the whole complete beam for free. Ooh, MP exclusive.
A 2-inch narrowed adjustable beam. Thank you, MP.
Yeah.
Thank you, Misty.
Very nice. Okay, we're going to get it out of the box. This came complete with drop spindles, and they sell it. It's called Beam in the Box. Complete. So that I could show everybody what it's all about. And I think they're doing Kingpin next. And tell me what you think. I'm considering taking the beam back off. It's easy to do because I've only got 6 bolts holding it on right now before I go much further. I think you're supposed to paint these. Tell me what you think. A lot of the items that we get, like the outside of gas tanks, front beams, you're supposed to wipe them all down and paint them with a protective coat. I think I'm right about that. I'll find out. But if I do, I'll pop it off. We'll paint it, make it pretty, and put it back on. So let's get this remedied quick before we have an issue later. Now, these will be the same size fittings that I used on ball joints. If you recall, I also did a video because when you buy your ball joints, there's no way to grease them. So I did a video on that, like you see up there. Okay, and I think quite a few people like that. You can use, I believe, what they call a bottom tap on the ball joint so you don't nick the curve on the ball joint up inside. But that's not what this video is about today, but I did do it to ball joints and it makes a big difference. I have to do it to these ones also. Now what I'm going to use today will be 6mm by 1.0. That is your tap and your drill bit. You can get that from Amazon. Also, the grease fittings, there's the part number. I got them from Amazon also. They would be M6 by 1.0. Now, I got straight ones. And there's 10 pieces. As you know, I used some already. But there's 10 pieces on here, which is relatively cheap on Amazon. And like I said, I did do a video like this before, but a lot of folks that just started following, they're not sitting there scrolling back and binging all weekend watching videos. So I'm trying to do a little catch up with 2 videos a week now so people can see what's going on and things that they may have missed. Okay, let's prevent rust. All right, let me get the drill bit in. I was doing so much wire wheeling on the car. I've got to order seam sealer because when Amazon canceled my order for Rage, because they couldn't get it, I don't know why, they had it up and running, I also didn't get my seam sealer. So probably a good thing in a way, because I was hoping to get some seam sealer that's sandable so I could make it nice and smooth. Or tell me which seam sealer you like. I got to do the rain gutters on top. Now what we're going to want to do is, yeah, I think I am going to sand this down and paint it. Maybe I'll paint it to match the car. I don't know. Nobody looks under there, but still, I love this. I am going to take it off and paint it. Yes, I am. Okay, enough of that. Get yourself a punch. Not from that guy. And we're going to make a mark and a mark, because when you put the drill bit on here without it, a punch, you know, a little indentation, it's going to run all over the place. So we're going to go ahead, locate where we want to put it. I'm going to put mine up right around here. And yes, before you ask in the comments, you know, if you're new to Volkswagens, you can do this while it's on the car. Just be careful, stabilize the car properly, remove your wheel, and go in here and get at it. So I'm going to put one up right around here. And you just want enough to where when you put this in, you can't move it around. Like, try to move this around. When the indentation's in there, the drill bit's going to grab and go through. Now, caution. Don't be an idiot and drill real hard to drill through the other side of the beam. If you do, of course, you know, have an accident, you could smear some JB Weld or weld over the hole and close it back off. but don't drill through there. You're just drilling through the outer plate on this side. You're not going through both sides and into the car and into the neighbor's yard. So we have that indentation. Before we get the drill ready, we're going to put one down here. So you're going to decide about where you want it. I usually put it right about in between. Perfect. All right, so we got our little indentation there, and that way the drill won't run around. Also, something I'm going to show you is what to do with the grease fitting before you put it in and what to do after you put it in. It is very important. Let's drill holes. All right, we got our drill ready. We're going to go ahead and put it in the indentations from the punch. Let the drill bit do the work. Don't start pushing on it with all your might. If you do that, you're going to go through and possibly nick the other side and put a hole in it. Let the drill bit do the work. Move slow, light pressure until it goes in. See how I just moved slow? I guess my indentation wasn't strong enough. There we go. No, I didn't go through. I think I'm going to have to get a new drill bit. I think I wore that one out because it did jump around. After all the lecturing, and mine ran around on me. See that? But I'm not editing it out. I refuse to do that. Wow. I need a new drill bit. Oh yeah. My bit is dull. Okay. Like I said, I refuse to edit out when there is a struggle or anything goes wrong, like the drill bit started walking on me. I did hit the indentations in, but it still did. I think my drill bit's tired. But anyhow, you won't see that here. I'm not editing out stuff. Okay, we're going to prep the grease fitting, and we're going to put it in, and I'll show you what I mean by prepping it. Talk about getting ahead of yourself. Why don't we tap the threads first? Now, I did dip the tap in a little bit of cutting oil. So we're going to start to put it in. And I have a 7/32 12-point socket which fits this tap. So check yours. It may have a different head on it. Come on, get on there. There we go. Just take it in slow. And make sure you put a little cutting oil on it. Don't forget. Back it out of here. There we go. This ratchet, I gotta take it and exchange it. I don't think they make Craftsman like they used to. Okay, that should be fine there. Just running it in to get all the threads. Sure miss the way Craftsman used to be built, but I can't afford to buy Snap-on, nor do I work as a mechanic any longer in a shop. So I can't get a hold of Snap-on, nor do I want to pay them prices now. I use Cobalt a lot from Lowe's too, or Boss Stitch. Okay, there's our threads there. Let's move to the lower one. We got to make sure, now I'm repainting the beam, but if you scratch it up like that, make sure you touch it up so that you don't start rust on the outside. Oh, come on, ratchet. Here we go. That's the ratchet making that noise. The gear must be going bad in it. Let me back it out of here. I had another ratchet laying around. Gotta find it. This is a thin metal here, so it's not real tough to get through. I could have probably stopped there, but I didn't yet. There we go. Okay. Let's take our tap out. Okay. Put the ratchet back on, because nothing ever goes smooth, especially when you're filming. But I'm sure you know in real life too. Okay. Now you do not have to do this. It's something I do. So if you want to do it, okay. If you don't, okay. I take a little bit of blue Loctite or red, red stronger. The tube might look red, but it is blue. As you can see there, this is blue. And I put a little bit on the threads. Now, make sure if you choose to do it, okay, there's where your grease goes in, and there's where the grease comes out. I put the slightest dab on a thread here, and when I wind it in, it'll seal it and hold it in. Do not get any on this hole, because if you get Loctite on that hole, when you pump it in, it's going to stop about right there unless you blow through. So just be careful. Don't go crazy and act like an idiot with the Loctite. Just a little dab will do you. That's all you need to do. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to go over to the car. Okay, so I have the fitting, and I have a 7mm wrench. I'm not going to use a socket to put it on at first, because I have to be able to put pressure on the fitting. If you put it in a socket, it just slips up inside the socket. And I know there's a million tricks to keep that from happening, but I'll start it with the wrench first. First of all, I did all that talking and forgot to put the blue Loctite on. And I want to do it on top first and pump the grease down through it and watch it come down, if I'll be able to see it. All right. Let's get this started. It's hard to hold that little fitting. Try to get behind here. There we go. Trying to push just slight pressure until it goes in. I'm probably going to just tighten this one up all the way with the wrench. There ain't no reason to put a socket on it. If you had to, then you'd put a 7mm on it. Now don't crank on this too hard. You don't want to strip it. A little bit more. There we go. Wrench slipped, it didn't spin. Okay. We are going to get our gun. I want to see if I can physically see it coming down. Now, just a standard grease gun, nothing fancy. Although I did have a new fitting I put on mine, because when you use the regular fitting without the latch on it, you're yanking and pulling, and then of course your elbow hits the ground or something really ugly. But this here, you just pull the trigger, let go, and it holds it. Pull the trigger, pull off. My son and I just had this conversation. He was doing his truck, and he grabbed my grease gun and used it, which was really cool. It stinks when you're yanking and pulling and trying to get them back off. So let's go. You just set it on there. I'm sure a lot of you know this. Squeeze. Whoops. Try again, dum-dum. There we go. And it's on. I love that. It helps a lot. So we're going to go ahead and pump this full, and we're going to keep an eye on the bottom. Okay. I wish this held a little tighter on the fitting. There we go. I see those grease guns where you can just one-hand it. I'd like to have one of them. But I get tired of buying the same stuff over and over. So if I push this a little tighter, it helps a lot. All right, let me speed this up a hair. Go. I'll bring you up close and show you. Let me wipe this off. Oh, I got a mess. I need another rag. Let me grab a bath towel. Now, the reason I left the bottom one off first for the first time around, I could swear in my last video about a year ago, I thought Vintage 76 Romeo had said maybe leaving one off because of the pressure and it'll flow in easier. And I believe it was right. As you can see here, can you see the grease? You should be able to. I'm going to be painting my beam. If I wasn't, then I would touch this up with some paint so it didn't start to rust. But I seen the grease start coming down and I wiped it off. But focus. There we go. So let's put the bottom fitting on and then pump that full. Now remember, take your time and move slow. Don't put a ratchet on here like a crazy wild man and start running it in. Take your time and do it with a wrench. Okay. Don't over tighten. You don't want to break it. A little bit more. There we go. This is nice, but I'm going to have to ask my son if he ran into an issue with it squirting out the sides. Let's snap it on and go to town. I can literally hear it. I definitely want to get the other gun, though, where I can just squeeze with one hand here. I think it would make it a lot easier. I can hear it going in. Okay, now I'm not going to sit here and keep showing you how I pump a grease gun, but that is how it's done. Make sure to wipe off any excess grease, but I think I am going to pull this beam. It won't take long, and we're going to paint it. I think it'll be fun. Now, if you do this, I'm not saying your beam will never rust, but it'll sure slow down the progress of that happening. But don't forget also, underneath, you have the other fittings. You'll want to do that, I guess, you know, every 3,000 or 6,000 miles. It depends, you know, it depends on the usage of your car and what you do, if you're off-road or what have you, because some people take these off-road and have a little too much fun. So do it at your own discretion. Maybe look at an original owner's manual and see how often they lube the chassis on these. And here's all the points where you lube them. Mine is going to have more, though, because I'm doing the ball joints and everything else, you know, so mine is going to be different tie rods. I want it all completely lubable like they were years ago. Sadly, they did away with all the fittings on the most of them that I'm aware of. Put in the comments if you know where to buy them or they still have fittings on them. Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue on with body work and do a second video each week with doing something else like I did today. I am going to pull the beam back off and paint it so that it's protected better. And I'm probably going to paint it to match the car because why not? I have the paint anyhow. So we'll go ahead and do that. I hope everybody has an amazing week, and I'll see you Friday with the second video of the week.